So the Western Isles, Bainbridge, Vashon, Maury, Blake. Oh, hey, it's Friday, isn't it? Holy crap! Got to get this fishing report out of the way here. So, hi, this is Dave again, Emerald Water Anglers, coming in for the weekly Emerald Water Anglers or EWA fly fishing report for the upcoming weekend and week following. A lot going on. We're mid-March or early March, excuse me, and as everybody knows, mid-March is winter steelhead season. The world descends upon this region for winter steelhead, and sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. This last week has been, I would say, tough. Not surprising considering the state of steelhead in the Pacific Northwest these days. All of our Puget Sound rivers are now closed. Even the tiny little piece of the upper Snoqualmie that we had for a small bit of time, that's closed now too. So you're pretty much relegated to the Olympic Peninsula and going further south, like the Cowlitz, Kalama, Lewis, stuff like that. So we're coming in. It's a pretty warm weekend with some precipitation coming in, but across the board, all river levels are perfect. So the only thing I'm going to say is that if you're going to go chase chrome, it's probably going to be busy, because that's all we've been talking to people about in here is steelhead. The whole world has told the rest of the whole world that this is the month to do it. Forget about February. Forget January. Even though there's plenty of fish around at that time, everybody thinks March is the time. So you won't be alone, so don't expect that kind of solitude. But the hope is that we get a few more fish in and we can see more people swinging some fish of a lifetime up. Cowlitz, Kalama, Lewis, I already said those. All the OP rivers. Ho seems like it's had a few more fish in it than some of the rest. That usually brings most of the anglers to it. So if you're on foot, get out your Google Earth, get out your Onyx, get every tool that you have at your disposal out and figure out how to walk and wade, the sole duck, the bogey, stuff like that, because there's definitely water available to you on foot too. So that's steelhead in our world. Moving on from that, the Yakima is, I hate the word perfect, but man, it's really close. So you're sitting at about 1350 at the Untanum gauge. Water, the whole weather and everything's been fairly warm this week, so water temps are favorable for blue-winged olives. Squallas have definitely been out, so your mid-size stones about this big, dark in color. Your blue-winged olives during the middle part of the day, slower water, look for those on the fringe, or the swirly, bubbly water, look for fish doing nice, easy little sips on the surface. So when you see fish, when you see dimples around flies as opposed to aggressive takes, what you're typically seeing is fish realizing that subsurface they can see the tail end of your emerging insect, and that they don't have to expose themselves by coming to the surface to take it. So they basically come up and do a gill flex, inhale the water around the fly, which in turn leaves a little tiny dimple, and then they can return to their place safely, thinking that they didn't tell you they were there. Unbeknownst to them, you know they're there, but that can be the difference when you see that happening and you're fishing a straight up dry fly and not getting the takes that you think you should. You probably need to modify your selection, your fly, to be more of an emerger pattern, something that shows them a little bit of a body down in below the surface of the water. Okay, so keep that in mind. Blue-winged olives are a mayfly, and they are small. They're the smallest, basically, of the core mayflies that you're going to see coming out throughout the rest of the season. I know we're in March. March browns start to come into people's vernacular. Probably not going to see those for a while still, unless we get another spell of warm weather, which we're not. After the weekend, we're going to see water temps and air temps drop considerably, because we go from about a 6,000 or 7,000 foot freezing level this weekend down to back down to about 1,000 to 2,000. So expect the water to cool back off, and your hatches are going to be commensurate with that. So just keep that in mind. Lastly, moving on to Puget Sound, I think, we've been seeing people come in and have questions about the sound. And the first thing I want to tell you is, please ask questions. The only way your learning curve continues to be vertical is to ask the questions that you need answers to better understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish out there, okay? And in here, at least, this is a safe space for any question. There are no dumb questions, just the ones that you don't ask, okay? So Casey's looking at me as though there might be some dumb questions, and we can get to that later, but a couple of things. So I was reading this lovely little manual right here, pre-Google Earth. This was one of my cross-reference points with Gazetteer to figure out where to go. It's not a fishing book. It's not a fly fishing book. It's out of print, but my guess is you could probably find it used for somewhere around $6 to $8, $10 on online. The people who wrote it didn't understand that they were actually giving you all the information that you needed on all these beaches that we tend to access. Oh, this beach has a moderate pitch and isn't real sandy, has a lot of like kelp and eelgrass and stuff like that with moderate sized boulders. They were talking to the people looking to make sand castles that wasn't a great beach for that, and what that turns out to be is a great beach for sea run cut fishing. So sea run cut fishing is phenomenal right now. If you follow our Instagram account, we posted one from Ann Landfield from yesterday or from 2 days ago. The fishing's good. Is it easy? No, you still have to know where to go. You still have to understand how and where to put your fly, how to move with the current, stuff like that, which is what I'm going to talk about for just a second next. So I did a very simple diagram of the two things that you kind of want to pay attention to tide-wise. So spring tides are these tides that have a uniform, almost rhythmical rise and fall to them throughout the day and span over a week or longer period of time. Typically, or not even typically, just mostly mandated by moon phases. So definitely definitely take into consideration. If you see a full moon, you probably have tides that look like this, okay? The neap tide or the molar tooth tide, or if you played Instagram, this would be, or not Instagram, if you played Pokemon, this would be the Slugoo tide. It's where you get a really big rise on one part of the day, but then you get this really shallow dip of movement in the middle, and you don't see another great fall until typically this time of year after it's dark. So those are your two terms that you want to keep in mind: neap, spring, okay? So the reason that that's important is that in an ideal world, my book, I'd want to fish that 6 a.m. steep outgoing tide on almost every beach. Now, by converse, Mitch would tell you he loves a steep incoming tide on a lot of beaches this time of year as well. So the point there, at least in my head, to keep it simple, is that the water is moving. You want the water to be moving. That's what we're trying to do there. So fly selection, your chum fry are spread pretty vastly around the sound right now and will continue to do so for a while. As they do so, those super small little fry that you were seeing in little clusters this big are starting to grow, and as you start to get a little bit better eyes on them in shallow, clear water in the right light with binoculars or something that can blow them up for you, you're going to start to see those par markings starting to show up on their sides, those little black vertical lines that go down the side of their body. So that means that your fly selection probably needs to be just a little bit bigger than it was a couple weeks ago. Not a problem. It's usually why I like to fish bigger flies, because I can always take my nippers or my scissors and pare the size of the fly down if I feel it's too big. Like if this is the profile but my bait fish are this big, I can just sort of trim this down to match the size of the bait fish that I've got out there. So I like to fish or have a little bit longer flies in my possession when I do that, okay? To make it a little bit easier, and for those who can't make it here quite as easily because you live a little too far away, we've got a little Puget Sound starter kit that we're peddling. It's really all you need out there. Maybe a spool of tippet as well. Sadly, it doesn't quite fit in the box, at least not the one that we carry. but it's a 7.5 foot 2X leader. It's half a dozen of our flies of choice for this time of year, the puck and a set of nippers for $50. A little bit of a discount. You effectively get a free fly out of that. That'll be available online here shortly. And that about does it. Like I said, expect